Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here, and today we have the SH Figuarts Turles. Now this is a premium Bandai kit, costs about $70, and actually a lot of these P-Bandai kits are, or at least for the Figuarts, are pretty expensive at roughly around $75 or $65. But moving on here, we're going to get straight into articulation with this guy. So his head can exorcist style go 360. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Now he actually has a very interesting joint here in the neck, which lets him look down pretty far. Decent bit up, but as you can see there, the little neck joint, how that moves, so that's pretty good. I guess it's on some sort of ball joint because you could do like a wide range of spinning motions there. Now, interesting thing they did with the shoulder armor is actually like on a peg in the back, so you kind of move it up, which kind of helps with the articulation. Moves a little bit downwards too. So the shoulder is still gonna get in, the shoulder pads are still gonna get in the way of the shoulder arm movement a little bit, but it at least helps. Like as you can see, I can move it about here until it knocks into the armor, and if I move it too much, it's just gonna pop off. So you have to be very mindful of that. But as you can see inside like the shoulder there's a bit more of like an extra movement you get from this thing. So you actually can pull off a cross arm pose with him pretty well in my opinion, but there's still a pretty unique accessory that's gonna come with this thing that makes that easier for those of you that want a perfect bend of the shoulder there, which I get into later. So you can do a bit of a spin at the torso. Now, in the combination of moving the head up and the torso back, as you can see, you can get some decent flying poses with him as a result of that. So that definitely makes up for the fact that he can't look up as much as he can look down. As you can see, just combining the two, as you can see, this thing actually has some pretty nice posability for figures. Now, the front flap here can move all the way up, and then the side one pretty far up to knocks into the arm, so not bad. So for most part, at least with the leg, these flaps won't get in the way, and as you can see, you can pretty much do a split here, so not bad. Leg can go back about that much, which is not bad for most part. You can still do like some nice ballerina poses if you want to make him an honorary member of the Ginyu Force. Yeah, again, just to kind of show that off there, do a knee bend. The foot could go up a decent bit back, but not too much forward. However, it does have this nice little toe bend, so I think that's pretty good overall. If I didn't show all before, the waist can also twist below the belt there, I guess you'd say, or tail in his case. Leg can move. It feels like it could go 360, but I'm afraid to honestly move it any more than that. But again, they did the articulation of these guys are pretty good. Like, you know, any kind of silly, wonky, goofy pose or dynamic pose you can pull off these things because the articulation is so great. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this thing has a bit better articulation than Krillin did. And that's mainly because this is a full-size figure, whereas Krillin, you know, he's a short guy, so that already kind of hinders the articulation. And actually, I forgot to do the arm. So that could go 360, a little necessary, but yeah. Arm feels a little bit limited, but I guess that's not too bad overall. Hand is in a ball joint, so that can spin around. I never feel like these things can wiggle as much as they should. Like as you can see, the hand can kind of go back and forth, but that's really it. It can't really spin much. There's nothing under the little gauntlet here, but again, for the most part, this thing's articulation is good enough where I feel like you'd be able to pull off just about anything you want to with this guy. So for the first accessory here, he has this cape. So how you put on a cape is you kind of have to decapitate the guy. You then put the cape over his shoulder, I guess you'd call that. And then you would replace the head like so. However, this thing actually has quite a few different additional faces you can put on here. So you have the angry one, the screaming one, and the Well, this one looks a little funny, but I'm gonna actually put this one on right now. This one is for, I guess you call it a pose of him eating the fruit, which I'll show in just a second. So how you do that is you actually would take off first the hair, then the face. You would then, there's actually little scouters you see. You would take that off, and then you'd put that on to the face of choice. You then, of course, replace that face there. Oop. And then you put the hair back on, like so. And then you just put that right back inside the head. Now, thankfully, these things have a nice balance of fitting on securely, but not so secure that you feel like you're gonna break something or it's gonna pop off. Now, unfortunately, with this particular head, the flap and the cape here kinda sorta blocks the tongue a little bit, but yeah. Now, for those of you who might be curious, I'm actually gonna remove the head and the cape too, I'm at it. You can put on one of the faces here without the scouter. However, the issue with that is, as you can see there, he doesn't have an ear on his, he doesn't have a left ear. So you have that weird little deformed looking ear thing if you were to do that. So sure, you can kind of say, hey, he looks a lot like Goku, which is kind of a gag of the movie. But again, that just still looks kind of weird because again, the ears look deformed. So you're kind of better off just putting a scouter on, not being funny, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put this head back on here. And I'm going to replace the hand here with the additional hand he has here of him holding the fruit. Now, one issue I always have with these things is you have to kind of center this peg just right in the hand to kind of pop it on. There you go. So as you can see, he now is holding the fruit with his tongue out there, and you can kind of simulate him, you know, eating it. So that's a nice little effect they have here. He only has one fruit, and it's always going to be right-handed, but again, it is there. Now, he actually has quite a few different hands here. He has like these hands here where he's like charging a blast. He also has two hands. Again, I'm guessing this is kind of like charging blast hands. And you already kind of seen it spoiled, but he also has two hands with these holes in them. And I'll get into what these do in just a second. So he actually comes with this special effect piece here for a signature attack. And the way this works is there are two different ways you could do this. There's one with this little straight pipe, and there's another one with like a bit of a curve to it. So how this works is, oops, so I get the right hand up. There we go. You just plug in the hand here with the hole in it, and then you would put in the little tube into the hand, and voila, it kind of simulates him shooting out that little blast or whatever, which is a very nice effect. I like how it's like kind of like holographic and see-through and whatnot, so that looks very nice. So of course, where'd the other one go? These things are all clear, so oh boy, I hope they roll off. Yeah, there it is. Problem with these clear effects, it's very easy to lose track of them. But to actually pull this off right though, I'm going to replace one of the fist hands. Probably goes without saying, but there are two fist hands. I feel like that didn't really need the to be said, but I'll say it anyway. Putting these hands can be a bit of a pain, but there we go, I did it. All right. So let me see if I can pull this off just right. This one kind of takes a bit of finessing to do, but you can pull it off. So There you go. Also want to mention that this thing doesn't quite hold on as securely as I'd like the special effect for the blast, but voila. So then you can kind of, so you understand. There we go. So there we go. So now you kind of have him simulating like he's doing it with two hands there as a result. So overall, not bad. That effect that you could pull off with this thing. So now for the last, oh, well, it actually came off a lot easier than I expected. The last accessory here, and that is going to be the fact that he has an additional pair of crossed arms. So how this works is, as you saw, I took off the arms there, and then you peg them on like so, and voila. So now he has his arms crossed there, and he's making a funny face while he's at it. You know what, I might honestly change that face just because I've had him sitting here putting his tongue out the whole time, and it just looks kind of too funny. So I'm actually gonna do the angry face here instead for him. And that's one cool thing about this. Even though you have to kind of take off parts and whatnot to, and a lot of them at that, to change the faces, they at least come out so seamlessly. It's not a big deal. You know, I don't mind doing it at all. It's not as easy as Krillin's, where literally all you do is take off the head. But honestly, I kind of like that they don't have a bunch of big old heads that you have to take off. I can see why they did it with Krillin, because he's bald, so it's been a little hard to pull off. But at least with the ones with hair like Turles, you can do it. And again, I don't mind it at all. And speaking of the devil, we're actually going to pose him next to Krillin. So as you can see, Krillin looks like a little boy compared to him, but yeah, still looks pretty good. It's actually nice that they both have the armor on, so they actually don't look too bad standing next to each other. But honestly, I feel like I've pretty much covered everything there is to this guy. So I didn't really mention the colors at all, but this is a figure. I didn't color anything, and with both of these guys at that, you shouldn't need to. This thing has been expertly scoped. These things are very detailed. Like, it looks like these things pop straight out of the screen. And articulation accessories are amazing. I mean, Krillin didn't have any like kind of blast effects like Turles did, so Turles gets some extra points for that. Although Krillin kind of made up with it for having like the additional armor piece you can put on, albeit they were a pain to do anything with, because they're a pain to get in and out. But I'm also gonna go ahead and throw him on a little stand while I'm at it. So this is the same one I use with Krillin. I actually got this with a completely different kit. The what was it, the Earth Ring effect for the God Gundam. But Bandai has an Action Base 6 out now. I don't know if that's a brand new thing or what, but it basically looks just like this. So this is honestly probably a knockoff of that. So you could probably grab that and get the same effect. So as you see, you just put that around the waist, and this holds him on just fine. I actually only showed this off, only tried this once before the review, just to see if it worked, and it gave me no problems, just like as you see here. So now you can pull off some aerial poses, which are a must for Dragon Ball Z characters. So I'd highly recommend picking one of these things up if you plan on picking any of these figures up. And again, we're gonna go into the verdicts here. So with amazing accessories such as this cape, which is it's actually a plastic, very soft plastic material. Feels very soft, looks great on him, as you saw. Again, you have all the cool beam effects, the unnecessary but still cool crossed arm effect, like I said before in the beginning of the review. I think he pulled it off just fine with just the articulation of arms in general, but you know, I'm not gonna complain about it. So again, he's a poser, has great accessories, plenty of hands to help you pull off any poses from the movie you'd like, even the fruit, which is honestly kind of one of the selling points for me. Just these two effects alone made me say, you know what, I can't resist. Though it's kind of had a soft spot for Turles. I feel like he was one of the more underrated movie bad guys. But again, I can't recommend this thing any more than I already have. And although it's a little expensive at $70, and it's a P-Bandai exclusive, so you're gonna have to be patient, because I don't know when this thing will ever show back up. I don't feel like the Figuarts stuff comes back on sale for P-Bandai as much as the Gundam stuff. But again, if you want it, I'd say keep an eye out. Do not look up this thing on eBay. I haven't, but I could already guess how high these prices are gonna be, so I would not want you to be put through that. But again, this is Rare Model Reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I see you guys for the next review, which I'm gonna go ahead and spoil now. It's gonna be another Figuarts. So this is gonna be kind of the month of Figuarts. So expect to see plenty more of these things coming, at least the next couple of weeks until I get back into some more Gunpla stuff. So take care.